so maybe that's where we can expect them today to go through. But either way, we talk about this talented lineup from top to bottom. Let's take a look now at every player participating. Ben, this is the scariest lobby in Fortnite history.
I feel like we say that every single time, Jack, but take a look at this list. Page 1 here has a ridiculous number of players. We already touched base on Chap and CLOAK. That duo is going to be rather intimidating. You have Tom down there with Dark, 72 hours. Jacob and Saint. Tons of these players have shown up multiple times in the past. It is interesting to me to see over the last couple events, over every single event at this point. We have players that have really established themselves, even blind, all the way back from Ninja Vegas, here today at Secret Skirmish. Teamed up with Jay Young. What do you think?
I think that's a team you got to watch out for as well. High Sky in our matchups yesterday, our warm-ups, he wound up moving right up the leaderboards with one close game that they had. So someone that's impressed me for sure. Triggy Soars and Bizzle. Do not sleep on this duo. As we take a look at this, Triggy Soars typically loves to land near tilted towers. Bizzle, someone that's a lot of times played around the Dusty Divot area. Two aggressive players that can absolutely slay out anyone in their way. What's funny for Butter, who we spoke about earlier, our last-minute replacement to hop on in, he got randomly paired with Aiden.
What a duo to get. The luck right there is incredible, and I'm looking forward to see what those two playing together. Obviously, their first time. It's going to be interesting. It was Zexro and the Siren. Zexro, one of the most aggressive players we have seen in any Fortnite event, and he pulls off crazy W key plays every single time we see him.
But folks, this is the page that has so many names that stand out for me. DMO, Funk Bomb, Outlet, Monster, Snood, Zate, Hysteria, Nick Merckx, Tfue. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the best Fortnite players in the world. They've all qualified through different competitions, through everything to get to this point. There's a lot of stuff going on right now around the Secret Skirmish, around Fortnite in general. I'm sure, as you guys have seen at home, the hashtag Share the Love event has been going on. Excited to say, though, that there's a little bit of extra information that has been released today. We can go ahead and show you guys at home exactly what we're looking at here. But again, the response we've seen to the hashtag Share the Love event has been amazing. And with the arrival of Valentine's Day, we're here to share one more surprise. Here it is here. Boom. Play now. Get some challenges done, and you can earn a free Season 8 Battle Pass?
Free Battle Pass. Literally, all you have to do is play the game. I don't know anybody else out there that's doing something like that. Fortnite still setting the standard, as we've seen multiple times in the past. Absolutely.
Free Battle Pass sounds good to me. The amount of value in that already is incredible. But I think, Ben, our players are ready to hop on into game number 1. The countdown has begun. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Secret Skirmish. Tweet out the stream. Use the hashtag Share the Love. Also, hashtag Secret Skirmish. Let's go. The bus has launched. Ladies and gentlemen, game number 1 of the duos competition.
Well, we have basically a southern middle to kind of northwest bus path. Players already jumping out. I would expect at this point a pretty even spread. That south side of the map, we've seen multiple times in the past, was typically kind of a heavy drop. That little village in the southeast corner. But I'm going to be honest, based on what I've seen from Scrim games, Frosty Flights is typically a pretty heavy drop. Wailing Woods, the corners of the map have quite a few materials. Plus those Storm Wings, Jack, especially for mid-game rotations, are very important. It's not going to get you all the way past, let's say, Circle 6, Circle 7. At that point, maybe things are a little too tight. You have a moving circle and people are going to start maybe shooting you out of the air. But a Storm Wing will get you pretty far. But with scrimmage games and skirmish events like this, player count does not drop early. So you might be avoiding a lot of early game fights, but that doesn't mean you're out of the heat with a Storm Wing.
Looks like CLOAK landed just outside Lucky here, this very south side of the map. You see the top right of your screen. 100 players remaining, 50 duos left. The new update that came out in the patch notes, the bush, it's actually really, really good now, Lupo.
Yeah, it gives you a little bit of a defensive measure, just like the Snowman did previously. So it is interesting to see players. I'm going to be honest, before this update, I probably would have been flabbergasted to see a player run around with a bush.
But now it might be a little more common as we swap on over to Paradise Palms. You see Ghoul and Lanai in a fight with Saint and Jacob, as they're going to go ahead and back away. Health advantage to Lanai and Ghoul. That's a name I'm still trying to He's French-Canadian.
He's French-Canadian.
Yeah, so.
Actually, there's a deep apology for many of us. We butchered his name in the past, but here we are trying to...
I'm going to still butcher it, just to be clear.
We're trying to get
I'm attempting, though. That's what counts.
Gray tack shotgun, a gray suppressed SMG sitting in Ghoul's inventory, 50 shield. And I've got 25. Looks like a stack of minis was found. Saint and Jacob there in the middle. Jay Cuddy and Punisher way out on the east side. And actually, they're not the furthest east. You can't see it, but there is one more player further past that. It looks like a duo split on the far southeast corner. St. Jacob, no shield between the two of them, but quite an arsenal here. A purple suppressed sniper rifle, that purple grenade launcher, 4 boogie bombs, which have come in clutch in very close range 1v1s we saw during warm-ups. Early elimination, DUOS taken out. Oh, actually, DUOS and his duo.
He might have get both right there, yeah. And now, you hear that Stormwind coming on in. He's going to have to back on up for the moment. As both players jump on out, they want to get involved in this fight. Only 4 shotgun shots left. He's going to have to be quite accurate with these. Posey and Ziff just up top. And there goes the plane as it crashes down to the ground.
So Isaac with 2 eliminations already, picking up that duo inside. Lazy. You have to remember, we are running the bonus on health and shield when an elimination happens. So a little more aggressive gameplay, not necessarily a bad idea, Jack.
Yep.
You still, in a skirmish event like this, even the first game when everything's kind of still up in the air, you don't want to play overly aggressive, but it does give players the opportunity when they feel they have a shield or HP advantage. The time to push could be right after a hit, and they know that they're going to top off potentially after finishing a player off. So it kind of changes the way that things play. We've seen in pop-ups, players playing a little more aggressively, going for eliminations when they wouldn't typically.
I was wondering when they were going to finally take out that heavy sniper rifle and just bust through one of these walls, through one of these areas to take down this 2v1. It seems like they're a little bit hesitant to do so as of yet. Again, in these tournament environments, changes a little bit of how people play. There, they finally do get a tag on the player just on the other side. Shots coming on in, and there goes Zyzek as he goes down to the hands of Ziff. That was their plan all along. They knew he was by himself, and they finally cleaned him up.
Slow, kind of methodical play, probably more important in a situation like that. Like you said, a 2v1 situation doesn't necessarily mean you can discount that solo. He was sitting on quite an arsenal inside, as they had seen. He just took out a duo before that monster, DUOS. So you never know what's in store. Do you push? Do you wait? Do you kind of bait them out? At this point, Lazy Lynx, too, they have quite a rotation to go. They're going to have to move about halfway past Loot Lake to make it all the way to the safe zone. And that north side, by the way, just south of Tomato Temple, there's a llama there. With only 1 team in Tomato, they might run into it just by default since it's out in the open with Ziff. Povsey going to farm up out here, the metal. You have to realize, too, lower material cap based on the pop-up cup stats.
Yep.
They're going to try and farm and hit that cap as early as possible. Now,
there's a lot of action going on, as we mentioned. One of the duos that was randomized, just like all of these, was Aiden with Butter. Butter, our last-minute entrant. And here's a replay that happened. Aiden and Butter in a fight with Slobbings and to FPS. You see Aiden dropping on in, gets up close and personal. Gets knocked, though. So it's up to Butter to make the clutch play. And watch this, folks. This man wasn't prepared to play in this, comes here to just test the servers, and then now saves Aiden, one of the best players in the world. And oh, no, no, no. Harmful and Nick Merckx have now claimed the top of Big Red. As Butter and Aiden are on the back foot, the inevitable Battle of Tilted has begun.
I feel like we've seen this a number of times in the past. I don't think anybody's complaining. Aiden and Nick Merckx often seen toe-to-toe here in Tilted Towers. This time, Butter and Harmful. It's interesting, too. Nick Merckx and Harmful both tend to drop Tilted, and the fact that they're paired up for this,
yep,
that's a match made in heaven for a Tilted drop, Jack.
And another thing to point out as well, want to make sure everyone at home sees this in the spectator client right now. You might be wondering a couple quick little things. One, the where exactly is the material count? Well, that little build icon with the 70, that means they can place 70 materials, meaning they have around 700 materials they can use. Butter with a ton to his name, but here comes the fight. Aiden gets knocked. It's Harmful and Nick Merckx pushing on in. This looks like it could spell disaster for this duo. Aiden has been eliminated. Butter all by himself against Harmful and Nick Merckx. Good luck, my friend.
Down 50 shield as well. Nick and Harmful both sitting 100. Quite a advantageous position, but we'll see if Butter, it looks like he's trying to bait either Nick or Harmful in and just go for a quick shot. Try and catch somebody off guard. They're searching for him. He's trying to stay crouch walking around underneath. He does have a trap there. See if he can bait them into it. Looks like his position is known. He's going to have to try and build some ramps to defend. The shots coming through. Harmful and Nick both making connections, and Butter goes down. He was able to save Aiden in the previous engagement, but this time around, Nick Mercs asserts dominance.
Nick Mercs and Harmful win Tilted Towers, back on over to Paradise Palms. That fight earlier from Saint and Ghoul, it looks like Jacob and his teammate have popped back in. It's Saint now popping on the res. It looks like the coming in. There's no way. There's no way he's going to be able to get him. Nope. Down goes Jacob, and Saint all by himself.
Another 2v1 situation. He's not the only one here, though. There are a number of other teams kind of circling Sharks in the water. Jack looking to see if they can pick up a third-party Elam. These early game eliminations often very key in securing the checkpoints for,
yes,
or overall points for the event. Even just one or two, and you pick up a couple late game, can make a huge difference. We do have 81 players left, 43 duos total, as this first circle is coming to a close. And we will see where the next rotation happens. Looks like it's centered basically just northeast of Shifty Shafts, right on the river.
And you see how much Satan is trying to farm up to get any material possible. He can only build 14 walls or structures in total right now between the metal, wood, and brick. He has a nice shot on the goal. That puts him at 2 limbs, trying to push this duo towards a potential first point. Brilliantly done there. Remember, they need 4 limbs at least to get their first point on the board.
Jay Cuddy and Punisher, they kind of avoided an initial drop. They landed on the east side. This was a team I mentioned earlier, just on the edge. Didn't want to get in an early engagement, but now might be the time if they know that Saint is by himself, or at least can try and figure out where he might be rotating to or from. We'll see if he swaps out that green tack shotgun for a blue pump.
And there's a look at the map at the bottom right of your screen. A little bit small, I know, but at least you can tell exactly where this zone is. So Nick Mercs and Harmful, for example, they're still sitting pretty inside Tilted Towers. You see barely anyone on the north half of that zone, Ben, but on the other side of it, everyone's flooding from the south side of the map. It's going to get hectic quick as players move towards this second circle.
Surprises me to see. You'll actually notice, Jack, there are little steering wheel icons are vehicles, and there were less vehicles than I kind of anticipated at this point to see rotating around the zone. Only a few players, a few duo teams in Stormwings right now. We have Nick Mercs and Harmful in your bottom right there. They do have a team challenging them here in Tilted Towers. It's Naga Ops, Vacaros.
Nick at 114 structure he can build. When you look at this inventory, it's kind of got everything you want right now, man. You've got the shotgun for the close range engagements. The SMG is there for the ready for the kind of spray down fights you need to get into. The AR for the mid to long range, the sniper rifle, if you can hit those shots, can be devastating. And finally, the mini to heal on up. It looks like Nick Mercs and crew are trying to claim the big gray building, the highest point of the Tilted Towers map.
I want to point out, too, you see there in the inventory, the exploded view of the trap list is actually quite impressive. That's a huge bonus to spectators, for everybody at home and us even watching here. Keep in mind, too, Storm Surge on your screen right there. There is a damage threshold that these players have to be above in order to avoid taking storm damage in the middle of a game.
Yes.
The idea there is to kind of, we'll say, trim the fat, keep the players that are not necessarily engaging as much as others,
yep.
maybe give them motivation.
Exactly. So again, that only triggers if they're above the certain player threshold in the lobby. So since there's still 76 players left, they're above that number, which will then trigger the Storm Surge. You see on the middle right side of the screen, it tells them exactly how much damage they are above the threshold, meaning right now, Naga Ops and them are safe. They won't take the storm damage. We're going to continue to flop through these different players as we take one final look at Tilted Towers, but now over to 72 Hours and his duo teammate. Not a fun spot to be in at all, it appears.
C's getting eliminated dark, picking up the first elim from Self and 72 Hours, and they do have Cease's teammate kind of stuck in a 1-by-1 in there. Learson hiding underneath. At this point, even though 72 Hours, Tom is low, LERUN doesn't necessarily know that, so avoiding a push at this point is probably the most important thing. Maybe even hoping for a third party, but it's not enough. Couldn't wait it out. 72 hours and Dark secure ownership of that wall, get the edit, and LERUN goes down to a pump shotgun.
And yeah, he just ripped him up with that. Remember, because of the 50 HP on the elimination, he goes from 29 health to 79. He's going to pop 2 minis as well. And now, 72 hours has a rift to go in his inventory. And you see right there, smiles from Dart. The fist bump comes in. I'm sure these guys don't play together a ton, but it's one of those unique experiences they get at a major competitive event, being randomized in these duos. It's awesome to see.
I think it speaks volumes to the fact that these players, a lot of these Fortnite competitive players, they all know each other. They're scrimming, every single day, every week, hours on end, honestly, and they mess around with each other on Twitter. They make jokes and stuff. So there's a lot of there is a lot of camaraderie here, and I love seeing that between players that are even in they're in a competitive environment against each other. And like you said, Tom and Dark probably have not played together before this. I'm not sure. I apologize if that's incorrect, but the fact they got matched up and immediately can connect and start making plays together is huge.
Absolutely. It's great to see as Saf and Ronaldo right now. They did find an elimination and have retrieved the materials that have dropped off that body. Remember, when you get that elim, 50 of each material is rewarded in the player's loot as you go to run by and pick it on up. Right now, still no individual players above 2 eliminations, but some of these duos could be pushing towards that 4 elim threshold to earn themselves a point.
Interesting to see the first team that does establish that. You see in your map there, the rotation for that storm. We're starting up here in the next 3 seconds as players tilted the north side of the map, the northeast side of the map. You have a few out in the middle. Everybody's going to have to start moving south, southwest. Things are going to start to get tight, Jack. Even on the north side of what is the next safe zone, you already have a number of teams stacked up in their little, their structures right next to each other, and you have players that have to rotate into the same location. Gatekeeping is going to be absolutely massive on the north side of the river. Ronaldo and Saf going to have to start pushing past Tom and Dark. 72 hours. Just kind of waiting an opportunity to get into a build fight here, and you can see Tom establishing a top-down view on his opponents. They are not worried about an engagement. You see here this rotation against the bottom floor, low ground warrioring their way in. They don't want to get in a fight. They don't want to have to push anybody at this point. They are more worried about the safe zone, storm damage, and putting themselves in a much better position. Actually moving ahead of 72 hours and Dark, potentially the best play possible because they put themselves in a gatekeeping position. They're not even in the safe zone yet, but they get the opportunity to take shots because they took the chance to move straight past, just build those structures right above them, tunnel their way in and get inside.
This is such an awkward area to have to push on through. You see the clingers already coming into play from Schmecht and his duo. Sap and Ronaldo made it into the zone. That's Ifa inside the double setup of the 1x1s there. A little panic build as he's now down to 48 builds, still with materials left. But again, he was just at 85 before they made that push. So slowly but surely, running lower and lower on materials. So much action has already gone down. About a third of our lobby has been eliminated. I'm sure we missed a couple quick things, but thankfully we've got Sundown to keep us up to date.
Thank you so much, Jack. We're going to jump right on into some of the action that we missed before. Here's some really good pressure coming out of Necrops and his partner, making sure he uses that sniper to close off the wall. And the gray tack shotgun, it gets a lot of flak, but in the early game, that high rate of fire allows him to put down a ton of pressure on unshielded opponents, and it rips through them. Able to convert on this 1v2 situation, and despite his teammate going down, picking up 2 nice elims. Now, switching over, we're going to see a nice 1v2 situation here in the Storm. Deuces and Tickers, they have a storming down there. Rusky is trapped on the low ground. Edison's way down. They put the pressure, clean up the elim, not taking too much storm damage because they're able to jump in the storm wing, run away. Great shot here. Commander Nate Hill on the low ground to pick up Blue Tea, and he regains the high ground, leaving himself in a position to drop shots on Zayt. Really good rotation, and then coming out, the last one, we're going to talk about securing elims. We saw the snipe to get this, but you want to lock that up and make sure you get that bonus 50 shield on hit, cleaning up Lennon down there on the low ground. Great play from them. Can't wait to see what happens in the end game.
Sundown, one of the most knowledgeable members of the Fortnite community about all things competitive. Great to have him on the team this week.
As we mentioned, a couple different eliminations happening over the course of the match here. 64 players left, 36 duos total.
There
now,
are still 64 players,
64 players in this
zone.
circle. And one of the most notable duos we mentioned earlier, the one that we're kind of keeping our eyes on, Chap and CLOAK. Chap with a single elim, just under 100 builds, and they're stuck very close to multiple teams. Does not surprise me at this point. In competitive Fortnite, you often see this, a lot of more secure, strategic gameplay. No one wants to risk getting caught off guard here, caught on the outside. And you see that I don't know if you caught that. That was a deagle shot into the wood wall right next to CLOAK and did not break it. That changed from 150 to 100 already apparent.
Oh yeah.
Shots on Sheep and Dobai. CLOAK trying to do any damage that he can. Applying pressure in a situation like this, especially as rotation is happening, is super important, because if someone comes up behind Dobai and Sheep, CLOAK can take the opportunity to get an elimination or two for his duo. Looks like they might be safe at this point too. Jaeyoung and Blind just above them. Out of the southeast, and that stink grenade is going to push CLOAK and Chap. The zoning ability of the stink, incredibly important, and they're going to keep applying pressure, forcing CLOAK and Chap to rotate even more, burn through more builds.
And they're only 51 damage above that damage threshold. There goes Dobai and Sheep. It seems like for the moment they can breathe, as you've got Jaeyoung and Blind and Takada all nearby. The next zone has been revealed. We'll make sure to show you guys exactly where that stacks up. 56 players remaining. You see Jaeyoung and Blind very happy to be in this new zone. CLOAK and Chap are in as well. They're just on the cusp of that damage threshold. But now this is where these lobbies begin to drop like flies, Lupo. When everyone's got to begin to move. 52 players remaining right now, but expect that number to dwindle quick.
Jaeyoung and Blind looking for any opportunity for a third party to catch someone rotating. That's Frosty and Saint just behind the hill there. Not on the same team, but Jaeyoung's trying to take advantage of the opportunity there. A lot of loot sitting out in the open, and Tyler's going to swing in just past. You see him shoot past the screen right there. The launch pad being very important for rotations. 50 players left, 49 players as the next storm starts to push, and everyone that is stuck outside of that white circle in your minimap is going to be in a tough spot of forced rotation. You're looking for people to start popping their rift to goes. A launch pad, you're going to see a lot of people recycle launch pads to try and move into this safe zone. Players will literally land on top of each other and build up as fast as possible. CLOAK and Chap still running here, still alive. Multiple teams. Looks like Nick Merckx knocked down in there. It looks like actually Tfue had knocked Nick and secured that elimination. Nick Merckx out of this first game. CLOAK and Chap sitting on 4 eliminations. That means they have secured a point already, Jack. An excellent spot to be in. The leaderboard, very important even in these early games. Every single elimination counts. Chap and CLOAK both having to build and defend themselves. The edit's very important. You'll see quick resets to look through. They want to make those walls transparent so they can see any chance for a third-party shot.
And there's still a launch pad of the inventory of CLOAK. They're actually close as well towards where this next zone will be. You see how far they're going to have to move for this next circle. We're about to be on storm 6 of 9 as it's pushing forward. Here we go. They're going to have a minute to make this move. 38 players remaining, 24 teams. So there's a lot of solos out there now, Lupo, trying to clutch on up for their squad. As here we go, the train now begins. Morgassi, bottom left of your screen. Nolan as well. 2 of the players, well, you see Morgassi, the winner of the summer skirmish. You got Nolan, the winner of the winter skirmish. Still both in this lobby.
This rotation in just outside the zone. Some players try and push as close to the edge of the storm as early as possible. They want to be on the front of the push. The effort to try and get into the safe zone ahead of everyone else is extremely apparent. Morgassi building out of his mind to try and get up over this hill.
Only 16 builds left, 15 builds, 14, 13, 12, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. He's got nothing left. He's got no builds left, and just like that, Clarity comes through and hits him right in the face on that elimination.
It's like Morgassi built the wall and edited his own window. CLOAK gets caught from behind. Other players are still rotating in, and Chap is going to be left all by himself. He's not going to be able to go out. Actually, look, the storm is rotating back. Chap might still be able to get to him if he a lot of hustle to get there. It's not. There's not enough.
Yeah, there's no way you go for that in that situation. But because of the zone, I think he's going to, yeah, he can stop and pop this medkit because it went directly back where he was. They've also got their tunnels that they've already used. 23 players remaining. Chap with 3 limbs to his name. Sam with 3 as well. Looks like Bowman now knocked. Vivid still alive, but barely. They do have a combined 4 eliminations, which will give them 1 point. Remember, via placement, you need to be top 5 to earn a point for placement in this duo competition. Vivid just bouncing around right now. Here's players above, trying to save some of those materials. Only 33 players left. Also, only 21 AR shots. That's a knock on the Funk Bomb. Can he go for the full cleanup? It doesn't appear so as of yet.
At this point, it might not be a big deal. The hope that Funk Bomb maybe gets caught by another player rotating to the same
it's
area.
A super far zone for him.
Everybody's got to move east, southeast, Jack.
DMO with six eliminations.
Are you kidding me?
I think they just got to 8 with Tfue still alive. Oh, no, they didn't. Okay, I thought Tfue wound up getting that elim. Either way, 7 eliminations so far. That's going to wind up putting them at 2 points in this game.
Now it's 8 eliminations, 8, Jack.
And now any more elims they get is big bonus to start off game 1. 9 comes in. It's already a big bonus. 2 teams remaining. Can this be a ridiculous first game for DMO and Tfue? They could go for max points, plus the big bonus. Tfue popping some shields. They've got to continue to move. They're playing the low ground. Sam and crew trying to drop on down. Tfue the target of both enemies right now. DMO drops him in and chunks him down. It's a 2 versus 1. Tfue and DMO already with 10 eliminations. The big bonus has kicked in. It all comes down to Sam. The man has 3 elims alone. DMO and Tfue. Advantage in this game. Not many builds left. You see DMO still with 40 structures he can build. Tfue down to just 2. Here's a split of the duo. Sam up top with the heavy sniper rifle, trying to look for the opening. Again, still playing this low ground. They've got some traps to use as well if they'd like to. This is just game 1. Sam charging on in. DMO and Tfue trying to break through these walls. Sam still on the high ground. Sam now weak, and there he goes! DMO and Tfue, 11 eliminations, and the victory royale. What a surprise! Tfue's on top.
Absolutely unbelievable. These two, Ghost Gaming and FaZe, both have to feel fantastic about that. And this duo picking up the first victory royale. The final moments here, you see Sam trying to assert dominance with that top-down view, but height isn't always the advantage. DMO and Tfue both applying pressure constantly. You saw DMO there shooting out the surface that Sam was standing on, so Tfue could get that one last shot in, get that last elimination, secure the first victory royale of the day, Jack.
Was that just a 9-point game?
It was indeed.
I think that was a 9-point game from DMO and Tfue. My goodness, folks. Talk about an electric Game 1 performance. You see Nick Merckx smirking in the background. There's a reason why Tfue is, still the winningest player in Fortnite prize money history.
It doesn't surprise me at all. And regardless of the elimination count, you know, DMO had 9, Tfue had 2. That duo had 11, Jack, and that speaks volumes to how on top of the game they were every moment of the way. We even caught DMO in the middle of that. You were saying 6 eliminations, and then suddenly just snaps the shotgun over and picks up a 7th, an 8th, and they just keep on rolling. An unstoppable force every moment of that game.
If that's a sign of things to come, those two could be on top throughout the day. Insane performance to kick off game number 1. Reminder, we have 6 matches we're playing today and a whole nother day of competition tomorrow with the solos. I mean, I don't know why we even doubted him. We should have talked more about him in the intro. Now I'm mad, but either way, I believe we've got our players on the floor with an interview.
Hey guys, I am joined by Tfue and DMO. Absolutely outstanding performance, 10 eliminations and the victory royale. But we got to talk about DMO. 9 eliminations, that low ground shotgun rampage. What was going through your head during that?
Nothing. Tfue was just turtling in for me, so I was just gun out, just trying to kill people. It's really it. Just got lucky, I guess, with people around us, and it happened. Wait, it did, I guess. I don't know.
A lot of adrenaline going through your mind, clearly, and Turner, amazing job as always. I mean, 1 elimination, I'm sure there was a lot of assists. I did see that you did not have...
2. I think I had 2, yeah.
2. Oh, 10, okay, sorry, 2, double that. I did see on Twitter that your Valentine is CLOAK, but after this gameplay from DMO, can you maybe see him becoming your Valentine after today?
Absolutely. I was just turtling in, and all I could hear was just, got another one, got another one, got another one. He's dead, he's dead. I was like, what is going on, bro? There's like nobody left, dude. Chill out. It was crazy. No, he absolutely slayed out that last game. It was definitely an ideal first game, for sure. So I'm hyped.
I am very hyped, too. So going into game number 2, do you plan on changing anything up or just rinse and repeat?
Rinse and repeat, I think. Maybe ram a couple kids with planes or something. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it definitely gets fun here after getting that big bonus. Well, guys, congratulations on your first win, and good luck in the next one.
You know, it's got to be quite the surreal feeling to hear from Tfue that he couldn't believe how insane you were doing when many regard him as arguably the best player in the world.
I hate to say it, but maybe a TwitchCon flashback for Tfue. No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying. I believe we have some stats actually for them for that game that I'd love to take a look at here. Total damage dealt 1,422. They took almost as much, 1135, 7 shotgun eliminations of the total 11. That 7 means a lot, Jack. That means that they were on top of their opponents for a majority of the fights.
Yep.
And that doesn't surprise me. A lot of competitive Fortnite comes down to those close range fights because building at this level they excel.
Insane.
In a level that not a lot of players can kind of match. You see them building extremely fast, branching when the storm is moving, and the awareness that's required. We did see some players get caught off guard by a player rotating the storm from behind. And actually, to talk about those specific plays, I'd like to throw it over to Sundown, the analyst.
Thank you so much, Lupo. We're going to catch you up on some of the action you might have missed and break down some of these clutch plays. First, we're going to open up with a pair of close quarter combat plays from one of our favorites, Chap. We're going to see how he's able to execute in this position when under pressure. Notice how the stink grenades are right on top of him, forcing him to move over and over. Pulls out the RPG and then immediately follows up with the pump, getting that third elim, setting them up to pick up a point later on. Now flipping over to Tom Dez here, able to utilize his ability, edits down. Great shot picking up number 3, and then catching Bizzle out in the open, cleaning up the teammates so it gets the trade back. Really needs that help, so he's able to pressure in, pickaxes the wall, he's keep forcing through, he's trying to get into there, able to secure a point. Now this snipe, we caught it on broadcast, but such a clean reaction, making sure he's flicking up, saw him secure that, now dropping down Kevy, the longtime BR vet on 52 HP. We talked about those shotgun rampages on the low ground. He's gonna get one here, cleaning up the siren, making sure those shots are on point, and then Kuros around the corner as well. Unfortunately, you run into Demo, who was on that low ground rampage and was able to turn around and clean him up. That 95 pump shot hurt, but Demo is able to rock away with it. Absolutely incredible play from game 1, but bringing you game 2 is going to be Kitty Plays and PookieFace_. Ladies, what do you got for us?
Thank you so much, Sundown. I am now joined with the incredible, talented, beautiful Pookie Face, and we will be casting the next game for you guys. What an end game. I mean, overall, that game was absolutely fantastic. Such a pleasure to watch, and I can't wait to see what's going into the next game. But I'm sure you guys are curious about some standings after all that end game chaos. So let's pull those up.
So let's take a look here at the standings. I mean, Demo and Tfue taking first place, total of 11 eliminations, 9 points total, activating that big bonus. Coming in second was Bowman and Vivid with 7 elims, 4 total points for them. Chap and CLOAK bringing up third place, 4 elims, total of 2 points.
Yeah, it's really cool to see CLOAK and Tfue already doing an outstanding job being in that top 3. And I was mistaken in the interview. They were able to secure 11 eliminations. So Turner was right. He did get 2. Okay, good job, Turner.
Don't tell him short, you know?
No, of course not. No. He's a great player. He doesn't need a carry. He's talented on his own. But heading into game number 2, like what are you expecting now? These guys have had a chance to find their drops, figure things out, see who's landing with them, totally randomized players, hopefully get some synergy going. What are you thinking about as a player moving in?
I mean, honestly, watching game number 1 was already the most exciting thing I've witnessed in such a long time. I can't wait to see kind of how these guys, like you said, navigate the second game. Kind of, they've got the synergy going now a little bit. Let's take a look. We've got the battle bus dropping all these players off on the island. Let's see where they land.
Yeah, I'm wondering, like, we have people like Demo and Bizzle who love dropping in the divot, and then we have CLOAK and Turner who typically go to that bottom right corner of the map. So now that they've got these new teammates, they have to navigate that, and all these other new players that they haven't faced yet. There's lots of people that are coming up first times on land from the winter qualifiers. It's just the most exciting part of the game, in my opinion, the early strategy portion.
I mean, game number 2, you know, what do you think is going through a lot of these guys' head right now? I mean, they're sitting out there away from us, you know. Their nerves are kind of calmed down. They're starting to get into a little bit of a groove with these games. But Kitty, you've played, you know, you played in Korea. You've played in a lot of these competitions. How do you navigate this as a player? What are some of your tactics that, you know, to calm your nerves and to get settled in and kind of just go with the flow of things in these games?
Take a few deep breaths, remind myself I've got nothing to prove. It's still a game. It's going to be fun. Don't think about the fact that there's a huge prize pool on the line and hundreds of thousands of people watching. And just get into it. I think a lot of these guys early game, they need to make that decision. Do they want to be an early aggressive team, or do they want to just wait to get that loadout? Do they want to wait to have those resources and feel comfortable before making those rotations and finding early engagements? So I love to see Dementos and Base Soldier playing together. I had a chance to talk to them briefly yesterday, and they're both very excited. They're both very talented players, and seeing them together in this event, I think they can make something happen here. One of my favorite landing spots is Mansion.
Mansion, it's a classic.
There's a plane spawn in the bottom. It's amazing.
I mean, we've got a little bit of early action going on here. It looks like Dementos and Base Soldier were not the only two players that decided to actually drop here. So we've got a little bit of a scuffle starting. Started early. 0 players have been eliminated. Let's see what happens here.
Yeah, we've got Dementos on top with the high ground, and Base Soldier taking shots from the side, but ooh, he does get shot with a pump shotgun, managing to take down Tom.
Base Soldier kind of just trying to navigate the basement here, go through his builds. These players don't have very much when it comes to builds right now, so he's trying to reserve, use maybe just a couple. The edits are coming out here. Looks like they're having a little bit of a dance battle. Clingers are back in the game, however, so he will use those to break down Mateus's metal. He is very low on mats, so he is looking to kind of come back and disengage. But let's just take a look and see how Base Soldier navigates the rest of this fight. He looks like he's trying to pull a little bit of a flank on him, make the walls his own so that he will be able to easily edit. But it looks as though his other soldier, Dementos, does have eyes right now on Mateus. So they're tracking him through this basement, all the while just getting down, boogieing and discoing the whole time. My goodness.
Yeah, having this music in the background, it's definitely a difficult area to fight in because you don't have the same footstep audio that you typically would in quieter areas of the map. But it looks like they are unable to locate him quite yet. I'm surprised that they do opt to join up together, and he's gone. He's gone. Where did Pookie? Where?
Mateus said, "Listen, guys."
He went down, and you know that plane spawn I was talking about earlier?
He
found the plane, and he headed over to this nice little turtle structure to get some loot, and those two are still searching him over that in-game music audio. I don't think they heard him.
I don't think they heard him
didn't hear
either.
the plane.
Not at all.
Wow.
Here we are in Tilted. We see Slobbings and FPS. Talked to Slobbings a little bit yesterday. Did you know that man is an incredible singer?
I did not know that.
He is so good.
Did he sing for you?
He did. He sang me Fly Me to the Moon.
Whoa.
Yes.
How did I miss this? So not only does he love going tilted and is an incredible fragger, he also has an incredible voice.
He's great. Look at him there.
Well, keep that in mind, ladies, okay?
Let's take a look over at DUOS and see what he is up to. He's got his partner here, Kevy. They're over
Retail
just
Row.
Yeah,
south of
Retail there, down by the plateau, which is one of my favorite areas to snipe from. Good high ground, good vision into Retail. They're looking to possibly engage and clean up here any early fights. It doesn't look like there's been very many. We still have 96 players alive at this point, Kitty.
Yeah, that is absolutely insane, considering there's only a certain amount of points of interest on this map. Having your duo partner, you're bound to run into people, and only having 4 players eliminated, it definitely looks like these guys are taking more of a passive role. Maybe after game 1, they've realized how important it is to get those placement points, not playing as aggressive. We did see Demo and Tfue take advantage of that big bonus, but the rest of the group wasn't able to do that, so definitely focused more on placement, positioning, getting that loadout that you're comfortable with, and then moving into the next zone.
Now, the players have been here for a couple of days. We've been fortunate enough to talk with them and kind of talk strategy with them a little bit. And, you know, I think the general consensus yesterday, or what I was getting a feel for, and you can definitely correct me here if I'm wrong, but a lot of the players said that they were going to, like you said, take a more passive approach, try and get to the end game, and then just third party quite a bit to rack up those kills, get those eliminations, and get their points that way. And I think, honestly, that's the general consensus at this point.
Yeah, definitely with these guys. Those late game engagements are super, super important and do really help get those eliminations. But we do have these guys maybe looking to get an engagement on the east side of the divot. They're hurtling up against these natural resources. One of my favorite things in this game are things like the rocks, the things that you don't have to build, where you're not going to give clue to the other people that you're there. They're able to get a shot on Patek, I believe his name is, and he he does see the engagement. These guys aren't really pushing, just, you know, making sure that he knows they're there, and now rotating into the next zone.
And he does take shots at that new infantry rifle, just added into the game today. So if those of you at home have not tried it out yet, highly recommend. Has an excellent rate of fire, does a ton of damage, and is super accurate. So if any of you kind of like the hunting rifle and the heavy assault rifle, this is kind of an amalgamation of the two. You're going to love this weapon.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to use it yet, but I've seen a lot of the players choosing to pick it up over other weapons, which is great to see. I love when they add a new weapon in the game, and it's something that the pro players are immediately picking up and taking advantage of.
Certainly, and we see Patek here and his partner kind of just rotating. They did have to kind of make their way into the zone. Next zone is coming to a close in 33 seconds, so you know where they're kind of at right now. They may start to get into a couple of engagements here just based off of the rotations from the other players coming into the zone and trying to get into the circle. They did take a couple of shots, but they are going to head up to the diner here, where they are going to be met by another duo. Tendons and his partner are there, and I know they know that each other is there, so we'll have to take a peek back later and see what's going on. But right now we have JDW, Ronin, Germ, and Aegis kind of at a turtle war. We're going to have to take a peek in their little shell here and see what they've got going on.
Oh, wow. I think JDW just went down to a third party there. Ronin and Aegis choosing to probably take down these walls. Oh, yeah, you see the shots coming in right now.
We do have third-party shots coming in. So this is going to be interesting here.
Not something you want to happen. When you're so focused on the audio in your Turtle War, you do not notice that third party that comes in. The wall could have gotten shot out behind you, and before you know it, you're down, which is what I think happened to these two. And now taking advantage of those stink grenades, unfortunately, oh, just in time with those explosions, he gets the revive.
The revive, the resurrection, the revive. But we are going to see a lot of third-party shots coming in here. Frosty is down and is trying to crawl away. I think he's afraid of getting hit with one of those stink bombs, it looks. I mean, those will take you out very quickly if you are down. 5 damage per tick. So you know what? You got to be very careful and very mindful of where they're coming from. Kind of excuse yourself from the situation, if you will, and crawl over to safety so you can get revived by your teammate. We have JDW here trying to get into a little bit of a build battle and take out some walls, make them his own so that he can edit and effectively use the shotgun to get some damage out on Aegis. Aegis does drop down, however, and does look like he is going to be starting to turtle. So there's a lot of edits going on, a lot of building, not too many shots being taken. These players are still kind of getting a feel for each other. It is only match 2 for those of you that are joining us from at home. So we have a ton of exciting Fortnite plays that I'm sure we're going to be seeing over the next 4 matches.
Yes, and $100,000 in prize pool to give away to these random duos we have with us. But keep in mind, the zone right now is in that top left corner of the map. These guys are now recognizing, is it worth it to take that engagement to fight the other team at the cost of taking that extra storm damage? So you see Aegis is finally making his way out. He does escape with his life, and I think it's just the storm pressure on the other team that causes them to rotate so early. And
you can see there, Aegis' stats did pop up. He had over 12,000 build damage, so damage to structures done. That just goes to show these guys really aren't taking shots on each other. They're just destroying their builds and trying to, you know, play the game that way. It's not a bad idea, actually, with the way this game mode is set up. You know, you only have 500 of each material, so resources are stretched very thinly, and if you can utilize shots to take out your enemy's resources, that's just another way you're going to put yourself in a better position for endgame.
And I think what a lot of that was the Turtle Wars. It's the removing of the wall, replacing of the wall, removing of the wall, replacing of the wall, little standoff that they had at the south side of that zone. And right away we see these guys getting advantage of the mountain, taking that that high ground near the center of the circle and using those resources to build their little 1x1s and hopefully take some advantage of shots on these players as they rotate in.
Yeah, we did get a look over there. Jay Cuddy over in that area. You know what? I just have to do it. I have to say it. Have to shout it out. Jay Cuddy turned 26 years old yesterday.
Oh,
so happy birthday to Jay Cuddy. I hope he does well today. That would be an excellent birthday present. But we do have Dark in 72 hours here, engaging with a couple of other teams.
Persecute up top high ground. We did see Dark in 72 hours take advantage of fights like these in this last game, and now they're looking to do the same. Dark taking shots, taken out by Persecute. Now it's up to 72 hours to take advantage. He is in a 1v2 situation. Do you see that at the bottom right corner, there's another player that looks like they're pushing in. Oh, using the heavy sniper, taking out the wall, and pump shotgun to the face is going to put him back in the lobby. But Persecute and Zykick taking advantage of those two and the way that they were split to get those eliminations.
Now we do see Tfue and Demo up on that mountain there, just kind of assessing everything. We have Zayt down here using the SMG to try to break through his opponent's structures so that he can, you know, just utilize the potential RPG, shooting the RPG through the window. This Zayt has a ton of weapons in his inventory right now that are excellent for breaking through structures and walls very, very quickly. So we're going to have to see how this kind of develops. We have a lot of players in this area all trying to get to the ultimate high ground that Demo and Tfue, they've already claimed that real estate.
Those guys are relaxing till the end game where hopefully Demo is able to perform the way he did in the last game. And you see Zayt and Blue T taking advantage of that split fire. They've positioned themselves a little bit separated so they're able to shoot at different walls while their opponents were trying to get those heals off. It does cause them to maybe get a little bit more confused, not be able to put those walls up right away and get tags on them. But they do now make the rotation to the other side of the mountain, maintaining that high ground and just perch up on the side here.
We still have 37 teams alive, 69 players in total. This mountain is going to end up being a very hot spot, I think, for these guys. You can see that Junk Junction is still in indeed, but there's really no one in there. All of these players kind of gravitating towards the high zone.
Butter.
I see.
Butter is still alive. His partner, Aiden. Butter's story is really interesting. He was with us, helping us practice a few of the things, and now he is in the skirmish, hoping to do his teammate Aiden proud. Already knocked, but he's able to make it into the, well, make it this far in the match now, looking to get into the zone. He does have other opponents around him. Looks like two of them are fighting in the zone right now. Just got a knock on him. Oh!
Butter does take a lot of shots here. He's trying to determine where the shots are coming from. Unfortunately, was not able to. That was Bowman coming through the storm and taking out Butter. That's unfortunate. But in case you guys are just joining us, we are here at this secret skirmish at an undisclosed secret location. Game number 2 of duos. We had Tfue and Demo take game number 1 with a total of 11 eliminations. Can't wait to see how they fare in this game. But we're looking at Nick Merckx here. Nick Merckx is arguably, Kitty, and I know you're going to agree with this, one of the best controller players in this lobby. He's so just methodical with his shots, and not only is he very mechanically gifted, but he makes excellent rotations and excellent decisions. So him and his partner, Harmful, I think are going to fare very well today in this duos tournament. We have Dakota kind of sneaking up a little bit on him here. But this is, I think, at this point, just going to be, you know, a little bit of a turtle war again.
A little bit of a south standoff. They do have that rift secured. They are camping it, waiting for the next zone to pop, and now they need to make a decision. When are they going to use that? Are they going to take this time? Oh, and it looks like soon, because the other team above them decides to use it and make the decision for them, and now they're taking the rift and probably looking to take that best position advantage. Where do they want it? Do they want original high ground? Do they want to make their own builds, or do they want to take advantage of another team that's already built and build on top of them? And you see Harmful pushing up to the base of this build with Blind, who we saw who did excellent at the Ninja Vegas event, and build their structure. Now they're going to look to take some shots on the enemy teams pushing into the zone.
Yeah, and you know what, while we're sitting here kind of waiting for everyone to get into the next circle, Why don't we talk to Sypher about some of the mid-game highlights that we've seen so far?
Absolutely, guys. We got some early action with Ziff and Pavzi in a 2v2 in Lazy Link. Ziff takes out Devious, and Pavzi is holding the high ground right here on top of Monster. They both pressure him from different angles, and they get these first 2 elims to start off round 2 of the Secret Skirmish. Great play and great positioning from both these players. Over here, we have Sheep in a 1v2 situation against Grenades and Nate Hill. He takes out Grenades and Thurston for the shield, and then after getting into a bit of a build fight with Nate Hill from the low ground, he's looking for that angle. Eventually, he takes out Nate Hill with the SMG spray into the pump shotgun shot. Very amazing play from Sheep. 1v2 against 2 of the best players in the world. Guys, let's kick it back to the casters to continue game 2.
Yeah, and there we have Sheep in Junk Junction, still alive. He does not have a teammate, but that didn't seem to matter in that last engagement, so it's going to be interesting to see what strategy he decides to take moving forward.
Sheep is looking very, very confident. We were, you know, like I said, talking to some of the players yesterday. Sheep comes into these LAN settings, and he's very calculated, clinical. He doesn't let things get to him too much. So having Dopai kind of out of this match, I don't really think it's going to affect him very much at all.
No, not at all. And right away we see 51 players still remaining. It looks like they're building a new Tilted Towers here in Junk Junction. And looks like Sheep has found his way onto a legendary RPG, which you can only achieve now from the supplied crates. That's a new change in the recent patch, one that I really, really like, and I'm glad they made that. And you see him watching that wall. He knows another player's on the other side of it. You see the little breaks coming in, and he's going to make sure that as soon as that goes down, he's going to get his own wall there and not be edited on by his opponent.
And we're taking a look at Germ down here in the bottom right-hand corner of this screen. He is also playing a solo game at this point. Kitty, what do you do? You're alone, your partner's taken out. How do you navigate that? How do you really, you know, take that game? It's not impossible to do. We've seen it done so many times. Give me a tip.
I think you play it out exactly the same way. Make sure you're getting those great rotations, and you have no one to watch your back, but these guys know how to build. They're very, very talented solo players, so he's just going to make sure that he gets in his zone, he feels comfortable, and he relaxes. There's no pressure on him to fight. He really wants to be getting those placement points and taking advantage of that. So you'll see him just here turtle up, take advantage of the chaos of the 47 players that are left in this 5th zone. And yeah, I think he's just looking to make a little bit of noise now, get those edits, and just make sure that he knows who is where and not put himself in a bad situation.
Yeah, definitely. Now we can see here shots are starting to just fly around the map. Things are going to start getting way more chaotic as the next circle closes in. Here we go. This is it. This is the moment. This is what all of these players are in scrims doing every night, training for this exact moment. We have Kayuzi there, Vide. We've got Mateus hunkered down in a structure as well. Psychic, Persecute, also in a metal structure. Everyone kind of just wanting to take shots, but you don't want to draw too much attention to yourself at this point, because all it takes is one other player to notice your head peeking out, and you will be sent back to the lobby.
Oh, and right into that 1v1 of Bizzle, one of my favorite players. He's already done 471 damage this game. His partner, Triggy Soares, is a controller gang player, and I think the two of these match together is going to be amazing. Bizzle is known for his great strategy, his clear rotations, and his great game sense. So having a teammate like Triggy to help him secure those eliminations is going to really do well for him. But oh, and these guys are sitting on a rift. That is an ideal situation. And Sheep able to pick up another elimination, or 2 more eliminations since we've seen him. Absolutely outstanding solo gameplay.
Like we said, he does have that RPG, does have the compact SMG and the shotgun. He is going to be able to heal up to 75 with the bandages at this point, but Bizzle and Triggy utilizing, like you said, that rift to go to gain high ground on all of these players, and they still have a launch pad on top of that. So mobility going into these end circles is very important. Bizzle and Triggy Soares, they got it.
Yeah, Bizzle is meticulous. He loves the high ground, and you can see him talking a lot. He is making most, if not all, of the in-game calls right now for his teammate, and like whenever we go to these high ground spectators, it is almost always Bizzle that has that high ground. And you see him making a push over, and nobody really noticing that he's up there right now. There's a little bit of chaos now that the zone is going to be a moving one. And you see everyone down below. Mid ground, high ground, low ground. Everyone doing their best to get to zone. And hopefully get some tags on these guys as they make their rotate.
Yeah, Bizzle trying to take shots to, you know, when you are using your glider or your umbrella, you are vulnerable for a moment. So Bizzle really trying to capitalize on that, get as much damage as he can. Even if he doesn't get a knock or an elimination, it doesn't matter. This is endgame. All you want to do is try to apply pressure, try to get damage on your opponents. It doesn't matter if you get the elimination or the knock. You're wanting to apply pressure so that later on, they're just easy targets to be taking out.
Yeah, there's no way that these guys are getting the revive now with these moving zones as well. So that knock pretty much equates to an elimination. And we see Ronaldo and Saf, who currently have 5 eliminations, taking advantage of the stink grenades and the clingers. One more elimination is going to put them in that 2-point range for the main board.
And they just got it.
And
there it is. Saf secured it. So
speak of the devil, these guys.
Look at you.
Job.
You are just, I mean, you're...
Oh, and Bizzle, Triggy, like I was saying earlier, that firepower. When you put a controller player on the high ground like that, especially one as amazing as Triggy soars, he is going to be getting those eliminations. And these guys are now at 7 eliminations, heading towards that big bonus territory after that 8th. Amazing job. I mean, and ultimate high ground. Like, what did I say? These guys.
You've got the premonitions today, Kitty. Would you want to make a prediction right now? Right now. Quickly.
Bizzle.
Bizzle. All right, she called it. Let's see if she's right.
There you go. Triggy getting another elimination on Kiwi Face. Just totally dominating the field, blanketing across, and now opting to drop down a little bit more. See, Bizzle is so great at this. He knows exactly when he needs to drop down just that little bit, and when things are starting to get a little bit scary, you never want to hold ultimate high ground when there's not as many players. Now there's down to 4 players. It is Triggy versus, I think, Ronaldo and Saf still, and these two 2v2 situation, and this matchup absolutely insane.
Triggy is going to drop down a little bit.
Takes out Saf.
He takes out Saf, however. Triggy does go down, but it doesn't matter. Bizzle is there. Kitty! Oh my goodness!
Oh, do I get extra points for that? I mean,
I think you just won the duos tournament. I think we just give it to Kitty at this point.
Wow.
Everybody watching at home, put it down in a notebook somewhere. Kitty's got the premonitions. She's got them.
And can we talk about the fact that in game 1 we saw Demo win, and now it's Bizzle winning. Here is the final moments if you missed them. Triggy knocking Saf, Ronaldo coming through and getting the knock on Triggy, but Bizzle with that high ground, able to take advantage of the rotation from Ronaldo into the storm, knowing exactly where he's pushing and getting that clean pump shot on him. I think we're just about to see this, and boom.
There it is.
Oh my gosh, congratulations to Bizzle, the teammate of Demo. Absolutely incredible job. Bizzle. So proud of these two.
Bizzle.
I love when I look smart.
Oh, come on.
As I stutter through that. Yeah, it was great job, you two. Great job. That was such a pleasure to watch.
That was absolutely incredible. Let's kind of talk about, you know, how that final circle shaped up. You know, there was so much chaos, but the fact that Bizzle was able, like you said, to remain so calm and so calculated, that is what makes you a competitive player. That's what makes you an excellent Fortnite player, is if in those moments you're not rattled, you stay calm, and you can just, you know, move your way and navigate your way through the final moments. And, you know, you saw it. His interaction was just stone cold.
That's what happens when you play thousands and thousands of these scrim games. You become like a robot. Bizzle is so talented. But I want to know what else happened in the match. Sypher, can you tell us a little bit about that game?
Here showcasing some of the moments that you guys might have missed. Let's go ahead and take a look. Started off with our boy Dementos getting the first elim of the round against Tom Dez on the edge of the map near the mansion. And then over here, we also have Morgasi on the edge of the map in a very weird position, but he is securing this thirst that he just got on Cease. Later in the game, he takes out Legidine with a clean, heavy AR headshot. And also tag teaming with his teammate, taken out and trying to put pressure on Landjock. Sheep by himself pretty much this entire match, getting his 5th elim right here on full.